Hello, future bestsellers. We are so excited to be with you guys here today. I am ready for sprinting. Before we get rolling, let's say hello to our friends in the chat and we will, should I say that? We have no friends in the chat. Thank you, StreamYard. There we go. There's Devin. I know we're always slow. It's always slow on the uptake. Hi, Devin. We're super glad to see you here today. Robert, tell us a little about you and your awesome channel before we get started today.
My awesome channel is The Story Detective, where I put various forms of storytelling under a Sherlockian microscope and break down the craft for the viewer to make their craft journey easier. Speaking of which, that's what I'm working on today. It's a planning day, and I'm going to start planning some of those videos. I've got 5 out of potentially 12 in mind, so I'm working on number 6 today.
Excellent. Good job. Very nice. And we also have our fabulous and talented Michelle Schusterman here today. Tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
I'm Michelle Schusterman. I write young adult and middle grade novels, and my channel is writing workshops, traditional publishing chat, and writing blogs.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Thank you so much for being here. And hi, thank you. I don't know why I'm so formal today. Hello. May I introduce our guest? Hi, I'm Lisa Daly. I write contemporary romance and nonfiction advice. And on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. Let's say hi to our friends in the chat. Daisy's here today. Hello, Daisy. 88 Green is here. Come to join for the first 20-minute sprint, and I must get ready for sleep. 88 Green, we are so excited to see you here today. We will be sure to get to that sprint right away. Mary's here. Hello, Mary. Very, very glad to see you today. So I am not sure if I posted to the wrong channel, but we does not. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we don't have very many. We don't have as many chatters as we normally have today, which is kind of strange, but that's cool. All right, I'm sure everybody will listen. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Of course, that's exactly what it is. All right,
yeah,
that's okay. We're gonna have a small group and we're gonna kick some butt today. So let's talk real quick about what we're gonna be working on in the. You guys let us know. Yes, Mary, I think you're exactly right on that.
Yes.
So Robert told us what he's going to work on today. What are you working on, Michelle?
I'm working on my next ghostwriting project.
Yay!
Had to jump, turned it in Monday and jumped right into the next one on Tuesday. So yeah,
busy you. That's good. What are you writing? I'm kind of curious because you're writing so many books all the time. What is your daily word count on average?
I think it's anywhere, if we're just talking draft words, anywhere from, I don't know, like 2 to maybe 4,000. It's not like giant huge, but I do try to stagger my projects, so I'll spend a lot of time in brainstorming outlining mode. And I don't really track so much there, so I'm not counting that, just draft.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I know, right. And it's funny because we don't have the same way to sort of quantify productivity as far as brainstorming and things like that, other than I came up with a really great idea today. But the other thing is that's sort of the area where you don't want to skimp, right? You don't want to skimp in any area, but your writing speed, you can improve and get that faster. Probably that's true for brainstorming and things like that, just with experience over time. But that's challenging. But yes. Hi, Avi. We're so happy to see you today. Hope everybody's doing great. I certainly am. I have marketing stuff I'm working on today for the book. So that is super exciting. Mary's going to be working on Tricked, aka the Hooker book. That is coming out soon. So that's going to be exciting. Yay. I'm doing a lot of clapping lately because Sterling, aka Stir Fry, the baby who has been visiting us, is learning to clap, and we clap about everything. So we're going to be doing that today.
Cutest.
Oh my gosh, he is hilarious. He's just full of personality. His birthday's on Saturday. The Horror Geek has been having him listen to hip hop music, which he loves. He loves all kinds of music. He also loves pop music, yes, but he listens to a lot of hip hop. And for his birthday, the Horror Geek got him this little baby DJ set, and it has this little turntable, and it goes. And it's got like a sampler where you can say something and it turns it into a baby voice. It's sort of hilarious. So anyway,
That's amazing.
that's what we've
I
been doing. He's the cute. He's just the cutest. Hello, Terry. Super glad to see you. Kara's here. I haven't been able to find these during the last couple of weeks on YouTube. Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
You're like, I subscribed. I ding the little bell. What is happening? I know YouTube's really bad with that. Michelle's next project, ghostwriting for dummies. You could totally do nonfiction. Totally. All right. Mary's also brainstorming on raising parents with note on discussion with my dad yesterday about Viagra. Oh my God. So you know what? I love this idea. I told Mary this the other day. Like I said, this is like something you have a lot of boomers like going into retirement homes and all this stuff happening, and their kids are sort of picking up the slack, and Viagra is an important conversation, as are condoms with your parents, because the group, sorry, I have to just do this public service announcement from my throwback or from my days as a dating expert. The group most likely to get STDs other than teenagers and like people in their very early 20s are people over 60. The Villages here in Florida is just a hotbed of STDs. So tell mom and dad when you put them into the assisted living place that you want to make sure that they are stocked up with condoms, just like you do when your kid goes off to college, right? Here's a box, grandpa. Let us know when you need another one. Stay safe. All right. Cool Gamers here. That was a very weird sidebar. Cool Gamers here. We're super glad to see you. Riley's here. Hi, Riley. Yay for stir fry. Yeah, right. Super, super cute. Love that his name is Sterling. You call it stir fry. You got it. We were like, oh, as soon as we found out what his name was, we are like, oh my gosh, how are you going to come up with, like, this is one thing you always have to think of when you're creating characters in books, right? Because the people who are around them will not call them, Sterling Boniface, whatever, blah, blah, the third. They're not going to do that. They're going to have a nickname. And it's, yeah, exactly. So Stir Fry was the nickname we came up with. Seniors Gone Wild. That's exactly what it is. Whew, they're going crazy out there at the Villages. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and do our first 5 minutes, our only 5-minute sprint, because that's our warm up. And then we'll come back and do 20-minute sprints. So as we've got our 5 minutes up on the clock, go ahead and get your documents open, get your big giant vat of caffeine if you need it, and any of today. All right, everybody, here we go. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's write. All right, we're back. Okay, let me just get rid of that and this. Okay, fantastic. How did everybody do on that first sprint?
I did good.
I just
Good.
dove right in. I have no idea how much I wrote, but it felt like about 250, 300 words. So that's awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Kara says, thanks for my son. He will never have to have that conversation with me. I'm not interested in that aspect of life. By the way, not everyone in their 60s is in a retirement home. I'm certainly not. Oh no, we were just. I'm sorry. I do not mean to assume that at all. Actually, it's just that my mom just put her best friend of 50 years, in a home because she has advanced Alzheimer's and some other good. And I know Mary's dad has had some stuff to deal with, so he's needing a little extra help. And so I feel like in the last couple of weeks that that a lot of friends' parents are needing additional help, but these folks are mostly in their 80s. So anyway, but not every 80-year-old. My mother, for example, is immortal and will probably never go into a home. She might put me in one, but yeah. Anyway, So anyway, and you say that. My mother always said that, but then I need to have a conversation. Okay. RC's here. Sorry, Granny. I should have said that. That was an overshare, and I apologize. RC is here. Very nice to see you. 88 Green got 79 words. Woohoo. And Winter is here. Good morning from SoCal. I got my Vietnamese iced coffee, working on a romance novel. Ooh, that sounds good. Both sounds good. Very nice. Riley has acquired coffee. I'm very glad to hear that today. Very, very nice. This is sad, you guys. I was off Coke for a long time, unless I had a migraine.
I'm so glad you're holding up that cup right now, because otherwise I'd be like, what now?
Not that kind of Coke. This kind of Coke. It's only been 4 years, you guys. Okay, so yeah, Coca-Cola, right? And this is a terrible addiction that I've had since college, and I have on many occasions tried to break it. And I have, and then something happens and I go back to it. But this time it had been like a year. And now I'm drinking 87 Cokes a day. So while this baby is here. So yeah, anyway.
Uh-oh. Oh my God, we're having some
Yeah.
things today.
It's me.
The ghost has taken Lisa. Oh, there she is.
I can seriously. This happened last week where I just disappeared. I don't know what it is. They're doing a lot of construction at the front of our community, and I wonder sometimes if that's why the internet's not worked great. Oh, look at that, Kara! I had no idea. That's awesome. I think it takes just special kind of patience. It was really hard. My mom's best friend, who went into the assisted living facility, she'd been my mom's best friend for years. She's like a second mother to me. And just spending time with her when I was in Denver for Readers Take Denver, with so much repetition of questions and things like that. And I think anybody who feels called to work with people with dementia, I think that's just incredible, because you really have to be a special person to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys let us know in the chat what you are going to be working on today. I'm going to get us set up for our very first sprint, because I am anxious to work today.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, we've got it. Okay, everybody, let's get ready to do our first 20-minute sprint. And if you have a second before we get started, or after or during, drop a note in the chat. Let us know what you guys are working on today. We're super excited to hear all about it. All right, here we go, everybody. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's cha-cha. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm gonna need this over here. Um, I was like so in it. Oh my gosh, you guys, just like completely lost in what I was doing over there, which I love that feeling. How did everybody else do?
I did well. I got
Yeah.
part one of my tasks done, which was transferring some stuff to start printing up my last draft because I'm going to be reading through it soon. So I wanted to get that all together in one file. So accomplished that.
Very nice. I always love to do my first like read through on paper
Yeah.
because I think you see so many different things that you miss on a computer screen. It's just for me. Plus, I end up keeping those like initial drafts. Like I have a big manuscript cabinet, and I keep those initial drafts with all the notes on them and all that. Just because I love to do that. Anyway, how about you, Michelle? Do you prefer to edit on paper or edit electronically? Oh, can you hear us?
Is that for me? Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
know. Can you
Yeah,
guys
no,
hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. I was just saying that
Okay. everything was leaking out
yeah.
too bad.
Oh, sorry about that. No, I was just asking,
No,
do you prefer to edit electronically or on paper? Like your first edit?
on paper for the big edits.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How about you guys in the chat? Let us know how you're doing. Um, 88 Green writing the end of my contemporary romance, but won't finish tonight. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really great news. Love that. Hold on. You know what? That calls for something exciting. Ready? Congratulations, 88 Green. We're very proud of you. Miss Texas G is here working on first draft. Very nice. Very glad to hear that. 88 Green got about 314 words. Yay. Super excited about that. Very, very nice. How did everybody else do? Let us know in the chat. I have no idea. I'm just writing this big piece. So I have no idea how many words I got, but I'm feeling good about it. Riley's here working on my YA sci-fi thriller today. Yes, love that. Love that. That is absolutely fantastic. So, I have a question. So, what's interesting to me is that I read something the other day and then I read something else like yesterday. And they both said like, "Oh, you're less likely to see money right away if you are independently published versus or self-published versus traditionally published." And I thought, well, aside from the advance, which definitely you're not going to get an advance in independent publishing for sure, but unless you do a Kickstarter, which I guess is kind of like an advance, isn't it? But the thing about traditional publishing is like, yep, you're going to get your advance like 2 months after you sign the contract. That's how freaking long it takes. It takes them forever to get you a contract, and then it takes them forever to get you your money after the contract, even though it's the exact same contract, no matter what publisher you're with a couple little strike throughs that your agent is able to get you. But for the most part, it's the same freaking thing. And other than that, it's going to be like to earn out your advance, even if your book is selling like gangbusters, they hold some back for reserve against returns. And so they'll kind of hold a little pot of your money for that. And then I always say this, it's a quill and ink business. Publishing is. There's some old guy. I always think of like, who was the guy in, oh my God, the Scrooge, Crockett, was that his name? Like the Cratchit, right? The little man working down in the basement. That's the accounting department in every major publisher in America. I'm pretty sure working with a quill and ink and one of those big crank calculator things. I'm pretty sure that's how they do it. Even though same contract, same money. Yeah. So yeah. So once you have your initial advance, it takes a long time to get like your royalties that you've earned. They hold some back, then they only do them every 6 months, and then you get the thing. And yeah, so it could be like a year before you see any more money versus independent publishing where you'll start getting your royalties like after 60 days. And then once you get that initial one, you get them every month. So that's kind of a cool thing. All right.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think the updated version of the accountant in publishing is everybody's on a coffee break and it's like, should we do some work this afternoon? Checks calendar.
Mhm.
It's only been 3 months since that last batch went out. We got time.
I'm sorry I keep disappearing. You're what?
Sorry. I said, it's so much worse too. It's like they use vacations. You get a 2-week vacation. It's not a 3-month vacation. Why does everything shut down?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Got that. Riley got 420 words on our last sprint. Yay. That's absolutely fantastic. 88. Well, go to sleep, 88 Green, but we're very glad you made it. Miss Texas, she likes doing edits on the computer. Good thing I remember what you're talking about, huh? Because that could have been a little bit pervy. I like doing it on the computer. My handwriting can be suspicious. Yes, totally love that. I feel that. Email a copy from email a copy to myself for backup. Thanks for the sprints. I always do that. I lost a chunk of a manuscript a million years ago. The funny thing is now I primarily write on Google. And so it's always like auto saved in the cloud, but I lost a big chunk of my manuscript. I could never write it the same way.
Mhm.
And you know how that is, right? You have one of those chapters that it just flows out of you. But if you had to rewrite it, it's not quite the same. And you can't quite, it's not as funny, can't quite hit the same beats. And yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
before clouds, that used to happen every once in a while. You'd lose an entire day's work or maybe an entire week's worth.
Yeah, I lost like weeks of work. I was so devastated. I don't even, it was like some kind of, it was Microsoft Word. Yeah. Anyway.
Of course it was.
Yeah, right. Well, and even like something had happened like where my like time machine backups didn't get it. But it was all related to like the glitchiness of Microsoft Word. And so this is one of the reasons why I really like to save my work in the cloud. But I will say, especially when I get to the end of a book, like the last, like you're 3/4 of the way through, I am emailing that thing or downloading it like every single day because I'm just paranoid. Right. Avi.
Oh, she's gone again.
He said we need to take a shot every time Lisa disappears. Caffeine.
I do not know what is going on today. I keep like it has some, I don't know, maybe comment related. I feel like every time I start to click on a comment, it's like, bye, Lisa. I recently started trying out Scrivener. There are so many functions in it. I used Scrivener for years. And then I would get so frustrated because like I was not writing a ghostwriting project a day like Michelle. And so I would forget, like, in the 3 or 4 months between novels, I would forget how to use the compile feature. And I'd always end up spending like 20 minutes trying to get this stupid thing to like print out one full manuscript. Like,
yeah, I'm kind of there for the first time now. And maybe just because it's not what I'm familiar with, but it seems a little odd using Scrivener.
Yeah. I mean,
I've got chapters here and chapters there, and they're kind of scattered, and I can't look at everything at once. So I'm like going back and forth.
Compile, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you compile it, can you go back at the chapters and look at them individually?
I don't remember. It's been so long. I don't remember. I do know that there's a company called ButterDocs that's fairly new, and they do sort of a Scrivener-esque thing that for writers that is cloud-based, and it makes like sharing pretty easy. So that's kind of something to consider. And then, and you know what? It's funny though, because I do so much book coaching now with all my book coaching clients. We almost always use Google Docs. It's just easier. Like all these, I so appreciate that all these tools have all these different cool things. And, Atticus has a timer now and there's all this other stuff. But honestly, like, I don't know. it's no one is more surprised than me that I have basically gone back to just like Google Docs.
Yeah, I just word processor in a document to have everything.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's it. I feel like I'm going more and more low tech. Pretty like a couple weeks from now, I'll be like on it, banging away on a typewriter. Miss Texas G, always email myself the draft or email to my husband. Yes, I think that's true. Doll just started giving Scrivener a chance. We'll see. It looks complicated. It does do some. It is complicated, but also once you learn it, like it can be very helpful. I loved all the, there's like areas to sort of fill out your character stuff. And one thing that's kind of cool is, you guys know, I've like always done like note cards on a whiteboard. And so it has sort of a feature to do that. It does have some cool stuff, but yeah, I'm kind of back. There you go. See, Avi's doing both. I'm on the free trial, still deciding if I should actually buy it. Go look at ButterDocs too and see if that works. And also you might look at Atticus, because it's not so much Atticus is really more like, if you're they have some of those Scrivener like functions in the writing part, but there's not a lot of it, so that might be a good use for you. All right, let's see. Yep, see, there you go. Save your documents. I'm always worried. My writing tool is Craft Docs. I'm so happy with how I can organize everything inside Craft. Scrivener's like my backup. Oh, that's cool. Plotter, right? There's a lot of people absolutely love it. I have not, I know a ton of people who use it. I have not used it. Have either of you guys used Plotter?
I've looked at it, and I think I downloaded it to my Kindle in case I ever needed like a portable word processor for that, but I haven't used it.
Got it. Miss Texas G does. I do free word processors like LibreOffice. I really don't feel comfortable with all the bells and whistles. See, I so appreciate that. When that's what I have on my, I don't know if it was free, but it was like free or $2 or something, on my iPad when I go write at the beach. It's just like a super simple pared down word processor, makes a doc. It does hardly anything else. But if you think about it, like Microsoft Office has not dramatically improved Word in. This is why I was like, okay, I'm not paying for a subscription for this crappy program I've been paying for forever. Anyway, yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's certainly an electronic paper trail that way as well. So very nice. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do our next sprint. Let me get this back on here. Dun, da, da. All right. Who's ready for number 2? I know I am. I'm sorry. I'm such a dork today. I keep getting it's like it throws off my momentum or my vibe every time I get kicked out of StreamYard. I do not know what's happening today. All right, everybody, let's get started. 20 minutes up on the clock. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's cha-cha. We are back. So, how'd you guys do on that last sprint?
Not too bad.
Very good. Finish the chapter.
Good. I know, right? I feel like it's kind of bad because I like have a bunch of Zoom calls all day. And so I'm kind of disappointed because I'm like really in the zone today and I would like to work. I am also starving though, and I have some delicious Mexican food in my Mexican leftovers from last night in my refrigerator, and they are calling to me, Lisa, wouldn't you like to changa right now? Anyway, all right, fantastic. We're slow to again. I keep being surprised that we have fewer people when it's 4th of July week. It's kind of odd. Like it's not really resonating with me that this is happening this week. Dreaming Truth author. Hello, Felicia. If I'm saying that wrong, please correct me because we, of course, always want to say everybody's name right. So super, super glad that you are here. Very nice to meet you. Okay. We've got some time for another sprint. I'm excited about that. Normally, we have questions. We do not have any questions in the chat this time. So if you have a question that you wanted us to talk about today, we are super, super happy to do that. I have a completely non-related question. If anyone knows the answer, if anyone would like to wait, this is not a writing question. I got a ticket a couple of weeks ago, and I paid the ticket, and I did the driving school thing so that I won't get like points off my license. And but I don't know if it's like, I know that the online driving school sent it off to the state, but how long do I have to keep the actual ticket? Like I have it. There's some part of me that's like, oh, you should keep that. What if something doesn't go through right? But maybe I should just take a picture of it and then throw it away. Because
I feel like
it
would be okay. Yeah.
It's probably fine. But yeah. I know. It's just like one of those weird things where I'm like, do I have to keep this forever? Is it 5 years like your taxes? Like, or 3 years, I guess. I keep mine for 5, but it's only 3. Yeah. Anyway. Ooh. Okay. Great question, Winter. Thoughts on KDP's audiobook beta is having nothing better than using their virtual voice, or is using their virtual voice better than nothing? I have some thoughts on this. You guys want to like weigh in the chat? Let us know, and we'll talk about this for a second. For anybody who does not know, if you are indie published and you publish your books on KDP, they have a new option where, and it's not for everybody, like some books are not eligible, but they have an option where you can basically click the box and it will do an AI audiobook version of your book. And you can pick from, you don't have like every voice in the universe to pick from, but I think there were like 8 or 10. And I was very conflicted about this. I clicked the box for one, and I have not looked to see yet what the reviews were. I just wanted to kind of see what the general response is. My feeling is that if you do not have other options, and you should know that KDP is not the first to do this. Google also has one, but you can only use the Google Play audio, AI audiobook. You can only use that on the Google Play site. Just like your KDP audiobook, you can only use on Amazon. So my thought was that just from an income stream, the more formats you have your books in, the more money you're going to make from your books. And so that's something to consider. The other thing to consider is that AI is putting writers and audiobook narrators and a bunch of other people out of work, and that's not good. And we probably don't want to encourage that. My third point is that if you don't have it, like it's several $1,000s to get like an actual talented audiobook actor or actress to do your book. Like it's a couple grand if you do it yourself. And so for a lot of people, that makes it out of reach. And so is it better to have an audiobook if it's done by a robot? and there, who knows, might be some potential quality issues. Although you can listen to the whole thing and like tell it how to repronounce different words. So what do you guys think? Any thoughts? Good, bad, awful?
I mean, I have no experience with this because I've never used KDP or anything like that. But just the AI thing alone that you said, like, no, I wouldn't use it because to me, it's like, as a ghostwriter, I wouldn't want somebody to turn to AI to ghostwrite their book for them when they could pay me to do it. It's taking jobs away from actors. Like, I don't want to. Yes, it's expensive. But I don't know.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a person who loves audiobooks, I would be able to tell.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
you know, I don't. It's not a good listening experience. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Well, there's always that like dead behind the eyes quality to the voices, right? For a little while, all the sort of YouTube gurus were all saying, "Oh, create a channel where they just do the AI voice. How awesome is that?" And so you have all this proliferation. Sorry, my brain was like, "How do you say that word again?" A proliferation of these faceless AI channels
Yeah.
that all read to you in that they all love the British voice. So they all read to you in these British voices. And and it's kind of, I don't know, maybe the reason that Americans like the British voice for AI is because it sounds different enough and that you're not constantly reminded that it's a robot.
It's nothing.
I
Yeah.
know. But let's think about this from like a different perspective. If you're an author, an indie published author, you're trying to make a living, you'd like to quit your day job someday, and the audiobooks, the audiobook market is one of the fastest growing markets for books. It's expensive to enter. And if you can make some extra, and also there's less competition there because it's expensive to enter. And so if you can get your foot in the door without paying anything extra and have an extra format of your book, I think a lot of people will be tempted. I did on one of my books, I checked that little box because I wanted to see like what happens. And unlike something like, KDP also has their oh my gosh, it's escaping me. They have a revenue share program, and I cannot remember ACX. Thank you. They have a revenue share program called ACX, where if you have written a book, you can work with a professional audiobook narrator, or a semi-professional, or an aspiring audiobook narrator, depending on who you pick. And they also get and they get like half of the royalties. That's sort of and you have to you sign a partnership agreement with them that I think lasts for 5 years or 7 years. And so that is another way to get an audiobook produced for no money out of pocket. But again, you're tied to this person and giving them half of the royalties from the audiobook for, quite an extended period of time. So I know it's quite a challenge. Quite a challenge. Dahl says I can definitely tell the difference between a human voice and an AI voice. Absolutely. Lisa also told me how if you want to narrate your own, it's super hard to get a high enough recording quality and get blessed by the powers that be. That can be really, really challenging. Really challenging. There are a number of courses on how to do that. If you have some experience, you can definitely do that. And sometimes you can record it yourself and then have someone else, like have a professional mix it, which is a lot, and put all the files in the proper format, which is going to be a lot less expensive than if you're going to a studio. But yes, it's challenging to do it yourself. I did narrate one of my own books, a nonfiction book. I would never narrate fiction because I think you have to be an actor to narrate fiction well, right? But nonfiction, I think people are super comfortable with hearing the author's voice. So, but I did it myself. It cost me in the studio approximately the same amount of money that it would have cost me to have a complete like having 15 Minutes of Shame, which is a much longer book, paying for a professional actress to do that narration cost me about the same amount that non-professional me. And I had experience in broadcast, right? I was on television for 15 years, but I still flubbed it up a lot in a way that an actual audiobook narrator would not, or at least that you wouldn't have to pay for because they do that. But you can buy equipment, and one of the biggest things is like sound muffling and not getting the echo. And so if you are trying to do it, the best way to do that is to do it like in a closet. So I have professional equipment. My original plan was to do the recording here. I will let you guys know on the event that I ever pull the, like pull the pin on that one. All right. Miss Texas G says, I think it should be up to the individual writer. If the quality isn't good, don't use it. But at some point, the technology will improve. Then what? That's where we are, right? The technology is like we're running and it's still trying to catch us, but especially for authors. But yeah, it's not very.
It's getting better. I would say, it's a useful tool for some people. I mean, if you really need to get some money to afford to pay a writer. But my other thought is there are so many different communities out there, and we never look across the fence to see the other communities. I'm sure there are voice actors and communities for these things. And yeah, you might have to share royalties, but it might be good to do that for your first
Oh
book.
yeah.
You can generate a little bit of income.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 Well, and then you're not putting a narrator out of business, which I really do appreciate. Kara says the AI voice always makes me think, hello, fellow humans. I'm here to read you a story. Yes.
Exactly.
Ma says, is it really all? It's not really all British voices. I just feel like it's, this is me exaggerating, being my little hyperbolic self. It's not all British voices, but I do feel like there are more British voices.
Yes.
That it's American channels choosing British voices.
Yeah.
I quite often hear American ones and they sound fake. I think that's why they pick the British ones. I think the British ones probably sound fake to British people, but they sound less fake to Americans because a British accent already sounds fake to Americans. That's why I said that. It's probably true, but you know what? I totally dig the British accent. I heard one say Alabama. Yeah.
Yes.
Alabama.
It's always one little word that'll slip in there that you're like, wait, what? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Daisy says people who use 2x voice speed for audiobooks probably wouldn't mind since obviously they don't care about the quality. They just want to hear the story as fast as possible. Do people do that for audiobooks?
I have heard that as like a productivity guru hack. If you want to read more books, like listen to them on the fastest possible speed that you can still comprehend.
I will admit I do that for YouTube videos. Like I would totally do that for nonfiction. I would not do it for fiction.
Exactly.
My challenge with just reading fiction is that I already read so fast that I'm disappointed, like that I'm going through the book so fast. I had a teacher in 3rd grade that taught all the reader kids how to speed read, and I cannot stop myself now, which is great. It was great like in college, or if you have a big stack of crap to read that you really don't want to read, it's fantastic. But if you're like in your tub reading a great story, not wanting to burn through all the pages super fast, it's like trying to play games with your own brain to make yourself slow down. So I would never do that with an audiobook for sure.
Yeah, it totally messes it up. I tried to do it with something that I was trying to get through fast.
Yeah.
And comprehension wise, if there's always things that's gonna, not let your brain completely shut down, and it draws your attention over here for 2 seconds, and then the voice is just speeding on, and it's like, where am I now?
Right, exactly. Regina, hello. We are super glad to see you today. Winter wonders if audiences have different expectations. Maybe spicy romance readers like the distance from a real voice. I wouldn't do AI for fantasy or kid lit. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I think people who read spicy romance, as a person who writes romance, I don't think they want the distance.
I don't either.
I think they're like, give me more. I will tell you. I shouldn't say I feel like. The fact is, every time I do a book event, they're always like, I keep ramping up the sex in my books. And every time I put out a new book, they're like, oh, I was hoping it'd be spicier. And I'm like, what the? Like, I could go like full on total smut, and I'm still, it's because I'm a nice girl deep down, I think. Anyway, love this. Yes, absolutely true. Absolutely true. Mary says, I'll read audiobooks a little faster sometimes if the reader's kind of slow. That is true. Sometimes I'm a fast talker. And so sometimes if the if someone's reading in a way that's slow. I do it so that it's less uncomfortable.
Yeah, I only had one that was really slow that I bumped it up to like 1.5 speed just to get it sounding normal.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I do. Yeah, I totally do that. Right. So it sounds like right, like you want it to
Mhm.
sound. All right. Matt Maz says I would find it hilarious if AI started using like regional British accents. It would be a glorious train wreck. That would be awesome. But this is the thing, right? So it sounds like Americans, for the most part, like we can tell the difference between a more like sort of posh accent and a more sort of Cockney accent. But but that's it. Like that's as close as we get.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Just one second. Let's see. Notice one male actor did women's voices faster than men, so I had to dial back the speed on the women's voices. Not sure about
Wow.
that's interesting. Well, he was probably doing higher register, and I think that higher means doesn't it your vocal cords vibrate at a faster level to get a
Yeah.
higher voice? So maybe that's it. But that's really interesting. That's a really good observation, Mary. Very nice. I did 4 times the speed for my old professors during COVID lectures. You are not the only one, I'll bet. Love, love, love that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started with our very last sprint of the day. Let me share this screen. Oh, we're already on 2. Hold on. All right, everybody, here we go. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Last sprint, make it count. All right. Here we go. Can't get the screen off. Okay. Oop, that's helpful. All right. Yeah. How'd everybody do on that last sprint?
Very good.
Very nice. Love it, love it, love it. Um, Fantastic Vixen's here today. Had to run earlier, but we made it. Yay! We're so glad you made it for our last sprint. Very, very nice. John, tequila. So so before, for the folks who came in sort of at the very last minute, the last thing we were talking about was how actually let me just bring this back here. Bum, bum, bum. It was all about how now Amazon is doing an audiobook beta program where you can basically have an AI read your audiobook and sell it on the Audible store, which was not something. This is the thing that's sort of crazy to me too, is that Amazon, Google, a lot of these places, a lot of these big book retailer platforms have a program where you can get an AI robot to read your audiobook, but you have to be exclusive to the platform, right? Which I'd mentioned before. What I did not say before is that a lot of them also say you cannot have an AI like an AI generated audiobook on their site. Like, so if I let's say had a friend who had an AI bot who was going to do the greatest audiobook ever from my book, and I wanted to upload that to KDP, I could not. I could only use their system, but I can't sell theirs anywhere else. So it's kind of a, I'm sure they all sort of want to keep their proprietary thing, but every time I look at that stuff, I think like, oh God, there go all of our jobs. So Miss Texas G says, one last note about audiobooks and AI. Voice actors in general will always be needed. I bet in the future the two will marry, live actors' voice enhanced by AI. Well, that's kind of true. Just think about like auto tune and things like that. I don't know though. There's a have we talked about Upload on this show before? So Upload is a show that's on, I think it's on Amazon. Basically, it takes place in the fairly near future, and the idea is that like instead of dying, you have your consciousness uploaded to this cloud, and you can still communicate with your loved ones. They can visit you with like VR glasses and things like that. And one of the characters in the show is like a Belmont. So all these people who are dead, like, are staying in this virtual hotel, right? And there's the employee of the hotel is a million different people. So like it's one guy's face. So you have one guy, the same guy. He's 87 different bellmen. He's the head chef. He's the massage therapist. He's the this because he's AI. And later in the show, we meet the real actor of, who was that AI face. And he was like that. Yeah, they paid me $300 and they can use me forever. And that's what to me feels like will happen, that and this is something when the Actors Guild was, really railing against kind of how AI would be used and all of that. This is one of the things they were worried about, that you would pay an actor to use their voice or likeness once, and then they could regenerate George Clooney for a million years after he's dead, and that felt like exploitative, which it does to me. And that is where that's a teeny bit, and that's what I worry about. Well, and also I remember, you guys remember when there's that face tuning app that turned out to be like a Russian app? It was extremely popular, but what people didn't do was read the fine print. And basically, if you use this face tuning app to make yourself, look a little prettier, thanks to AI, that they owned the company that made the app like owned your likeness. After that, if you use the app, then they own your likeness. And it was like, what? Do people know they're giving that away? So yeah. Vixen says the show Upload is so cool. It is. It's pretty interesting. It's a fascinating. It's fun. It's kind of funny, but it's like it really does make you think. Like, oh God, is this where we're headed? So anyway, All right. Before we go today, let's say our goodbyes. If anybody has any questions before we go, drop them into the chat and we'll try and get them in the last 1 minute. But before we do that, let's go ahead and say goodbye. We'll start with you this time, Michelle. Tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
All right, I'm Michelle Schusterman. I write young adult and middle grade novels. My channel is Traditional Publishing Chat, writing workshops and writing vlogs. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks for being here, as always. Robert, tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
My channel is The Story Detective, where I put various forms of storytelling under a Sherlockian microscope and break down the craft for the viewer. I did get a video outline, so I have 6 now. This one's a little fine-tuning, but moving forward.
Yay! Yay! If Sterling were outside, he would hear us clapping and he would be like, yay! So thank you guys so much, everybody, for being here and being the brave ones who I don't know, who showed up today, even though it's a holiday week. Yay! So thank you guys so much for being here. We will be back next Wednesday. Anybody have anything to say before we go? All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Keep those keyboards.